Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. Oh, no, wait, that's somebody else entirely. Don't pay any attention to that. I'll have to come up with something else if I continue this. This is sort of a stream of consciousness kind of video, just because I'd worked on some things and I was, proud is probably too strong a word, but I was interested in what had happened and thought I'd make a video about it, see what happens there. A lot of us back in the 90s were very excited about the issue of the first Star Wars figures that we had seen in almost a decade, maybe a little more. Power of the Force action figures. And to be perfectly honest, they are not good. They're not great. They put a lot of effort into these, but, they were superhero-esque, I guess is the best word to describe them. Over-muscled. The portraits were not very accurate, especially Princess Leia was not great. They had a fairly large selection, and the line kept expanding and expanding, and eventually, started getting more and more realistic as time went on. But a lot of us collected a number of these, and as you can see, I had a few leftovers, not just in my collection, but also still packaged. The idea, I guess, being at the time that someday these would be worth something. But they sort of, after a move, I found my collection of carded figures from that time, and they sort of sat around in the back of my mind. And I'd also been thinking about, for a long time, making a figure based on, well, a number of figures based on the FARSCAPE TV show. But I hadn't actually gotten around to creating a body blank that I liked and wanted to sculpt over. And I realized at a certain point that I had a few extras of these, as I said, Power of the Force Luke, a Greedo figure with a vest. And as I was thinking about these, it suddenly occurred to me that some of this might actually make decent fodder for some customs. So I took the Power of the Force Luke, and I took the Greedo extras that I had, and I tried to do some boil and pop. They always recommend the boil and pop method for old Star Wars figures when you're doing conversions and that kind of thing. Turns out that these are kind of difficult to do boil and pop on. They have a quite deep pegs on some of them, especially Luke. The pegs for his arms go quite deep into the chest and were difficult to get loose. I ended up having to crack the chest and hips on both. What I ended up doing was basically taking Greedo's vest, his chest, and he's out of focus, his chest, and attaching Luke's head, hips, legs, and arms to it to begin my conversion shenanigans, thinking that there was with the vest as a start, it would make the whole process slightly easier, which it never does, because I usually do things the hardest way humanly possible. So I ended up basically resculpting the entire vest. The eventual upshot of all of that was this custom Crichton figure. As I knock the lamp around, I'm not very good at this. As you can see, that's a little bit of resculpting on Luke's leg, as I got rid of the outrageous pose that those legs were in. And I thought at the time I was going to resculpt the entire face, and then I realized that, honestly, the sculpt on the Luke figure looks just as much as John Crichton as it does Luke Skywalker. So basically I just cut off all the hair and resculpted that. Also resculpted an entire weapon, as you can see, based on an extra pistol from the same line that I had. But I think it turned out reasonably well. Not too bad. A couple of concessions had to be made. The neck post for Luke is so much thicker than the neck post on the Greedo, so I had to... everyone, avert your eyes away if you don't like violence. I had to... head glued on there pretty well with the paint. replace that with a Lego piece that would fit into the neck hole. So, scenes of Lego destruction, as Toy Poloi would say. But yeah, a little sculpting, a little painting. I added the holster and the second belt. All hand painted, all hand sculpted, except for obviously, you know, the stolen bits. But you know, for a figure that basically is a Frankenstein conglomeration of two other figures that honestly weren't that impressive to begin with, turned out reasonably well. So on that note, I will discontinue this particular video. Stand up, idiot. There we go. Any questions, you know, leave comments or don't. Doesn't really matter. This is mostly the stream of consciousness kind of thing, and I think that's what I'll call it. But I might do a couple more of these just on stuff that I've worked on and see what YouTube thinks of those. If you've bothered to watch, thanks for watching, and have a good day.